Alrighty then. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spirit of Music and the Status Quo. I'm here with a favoured guest, a very good friend of mine. And for those that don't know, this is John Fowle, singer, songwriter, booker for the Moseley Jazz, Funk and Soul Festival and the Moseley Folk Festival, Lunar Festival, and also event manager and booker for Beyond the Tracks and many, many more fantastic events and nights around the city, such as Sensitivia, just to name but one. John, how you doing, brother?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, you made me sound busier than I feel. I don't feel that busy, but that was a good list. It's nice to hear it.
You were as busy.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, it's been a quiet year for sure.
Well, what a year it's been, mate. It's been really what a year ahead, because, you know, things haven't really, we kind of had this weird feeling of going into 21 like it was going to be this, it's all changed, it's all gone, but yet again, we're still in this weird sort of, you know, state of limbo.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you know, when obviously COVID first kicked in, I mean, it's quite fascinating because, you know, when we first kicked in, we didn't think the Jazz was going to get cancelled, and the Jazz is going to get cancelled, which is in July. And then it was like, well, Moseley Folk's definitely not going to get cancelled in September. And then that got cancelled. And then we're like, well, at least 2021 is definitely going to happen. You know, we can kind of weather that. And, you know, as we're approaching it, you know, it's on a knife edge again. So until it's gone and we know things are back, we're just not kind of holding our hopes on anything, you know what I mean? Until we're in that park again.
Mm. Well, you can't, can you, as well? Because every time they announce something, they don't let on anything at all as to what their plan is. Because I don't think they know half the time.
But
they don't, and because they have to wait for the numbers, I suppose. They have to wait for the data.
Yeah.
And then when they do give it, you don't know where you stand half the time. You've got to go straight to the website and figure out what that means for you. Yeah. And, you know, in our industry, and particularly in your industry, the lines always seem to be blurred. They don't sort of release that information until, you know, later down the line. But I just want to say, mate, huge hats off to you. I was just saying earlier, we won't take our hats off because we've got superbly long hair at the moment. Yeah. But, you know, what you've been doing behind closed doors is next to amazing. The world knows what upset the music industry's had. But, you know, as far as the festival industry is concerned, no one really knows. But on a local level, it really feels more personal here because it's, you know, it's so close. It's close to home. And it's, you know, we've been, you know, to see the fundraising campaign that you did, you know, amazing, just to take it into your own hands, because there was a point in time where all these support packages were being dished out to all the different companies and the different industries, and festivals were just left, you know, with their hands empty, and no one knew what was going on. And
well, yeah,
it
was pretty crazy. You know, it's like as you say, hindsight's great, isn't it? But as you're going along for this process and you're seeing everything that you've built up, you know, I joined the company 10 years ago, and the other guys obviously from the start, so it's 15 years, and to kind of see that potentially going down the pan. And it's the last thing. With festivals, you expect everything to go wrong, and they do go wrong all the time. Behind the scenes, they always go wrong. You know, if anyone knows me, sees me on site, and they see me and I'm kind of chatting to someone, and then they look and go, how's it going? It's like, well, this has just happened, but I just have to act really calmly. You know, it's constant, but the last thing you expect is a global pandemic to close the whole country and economy down. It's like, it's not on your radar, is it? So, you know, that was pretty mad. But I have to say, like, you know, the other guys in the team, we are lucky that we're a small team, but they've dealt with it so well.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, it's there, but it's all it's all our livelihoods, isn't it? And
it is mad, isn't it, to think that you were, you know, you say 15 years on from such a, you know, building up such a name and such a presence, and then in 1 year, you know, without that fundraising that you did, which was honestly nothing short. It was just amazing to see that community come together. Was just awesome. But then, you know, you weren't expecting the recovery fund at the time, because the package wasn't in place at that point. And then when it was the culture recovery fund, wasn't it? That came out?
It was.
When that came out and you guys got awarded that, I mean, how did it feel on different? So when you received the community support outside of things, and then you receiving the package, what felt more? I mean, of course, both is going to be just, you know, you're going to feel
the
good.
Community, the community, because the reality is when you weigh up, you know, what the festivals provide, in just, if you're thinking from a corporate point of view for a moment, you think of tax. You know, it's over the years, it's millions, hundreds of thousands of tax that we've paid, for 15 years. So if you think, right, okay, well, how much do we contribute to the economy over the next 5 years? It's probably 10% of what we got in the cultural fund. So it makes sense to give us 10 times much because, hopefully here in 5-10 years, and we'll pay that back easily. Yeah. But as I say, at the time, we didn't know that. And, we knew we had a strong community anyway, which is, I think it's given just by, the ticket sales are always so good. People are so buzzing. The socials are so great. And we're so grateful for that. And to be able to, lean on those people and say, look, we're in trouble. Because the thing about festivals, of course, is, obviously every business has got their own issues, but if we don't happen once, that's a year's revenue gone. That's 12 months. So if we don't happen again this year, 2 festivals, that is 24 months of revenue that we won't have because, tickets are on sale, people are buying them, but we can't use that money. So that's just sat there. So we're kind of surviving off the donations and the cultural fund and the kind of bounce back loans and stuff like that, which we're going to have to pay back, And the way the cultural funding was set up, it wasn't ideal. It was kind of done on a 3 by 3 month basis, and it kind of made it a bit more tricky because the reality is it was really strange. I don't know how else they would do it. In reality, we probably could have applied for a lot more money, but in hindsight, we thought, well, we've done some crowdfunding, we've got some loans. Obviously, we've got to pay those loans back, and we felt, in hindsight, we should have gone for more in comparison to others as well. And it would have made it better for us. But the reality is, to get any money from the government on it is incredible. And plus the crowdfunding is incredible. And, we've been lucky, we have been really lucky, and we're grateful for that. And it's been quite interesting because it's it's challenged us as well. And made us think, okay, well, what can we do? And, we've started new businesses, we've started new events, we're planning new club nights and things like that. So all these ideas are kind of just a bit of time to stop rather than rolling one into the other. So it's not all negative.
No.
I've done loads of walking. I feel pretty good. I don't normally do that, So I got to sit outside in the sun and, there is positives, but business-wise, it was obviously a disaster, but I think thankfully for everything that we've done, we weathered it well, and whatever happens this year, we'll be back.
You've weathered it well, mate. You can say that again. You've been stacked. And just to quickly touch on the amount that you asked for and the amount that you could have asked for more. You always run the risk with any funding institution that if you ask for too much, they just say no, and there's no give back. Well, definitely.
And there was a minimum amount you could request, which was quite a lot of money. And I think if that minimum amount wasn't there, we probably would have asked for less anyway. So from exactly what you've just said, the worry of anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
But we're so pleased with what we got. It's helped us so much. As I say, hindsight's a wonderful thing. We probably could have asked and got double, but there was a conversation of not wanting to rinse the pot as well. We did have loans, we have had a crowdfunder, there is other businesses out there, and I was just really glad to see loads of people that we know get the funding as well. So that's
it with you guys. You always seem so supportive of other people within that same community, the festival community. It's never just about you. You've always thought in that scope, and I know you've created a great network as a result of that. And I think that's such a great thing.
But the music industry can be ruthless. The reality is it can be ruthless, and it's a side that I absolutely hate and the others hate. And sometimes some of the ways you get spoken to by some people within the industry is you love. It's interesting. Are
we talking managers here?
I'm not. I won't say. No. I'm a manager. Managers are lovely.
Yes, of course, bro.
There is and it can be really frustrating because obviously, the emphasis.
It's a very competitive industry.
It's competitive, and at the end of the day, it's a very money-driven industry. So, you get pushed out for nationals and things like that. But financially makes sense for the artist and the agent or whatever. So it's understandable. It's just really frustrating, but we always try and make a real effort to definitely support people when we can, and focus on the positive side of the music industry.
Well, that's it. And when you were faced with close to I guess a very scary period in time where you didn't know what was going on, you fathomed out of nowhere this amazing online show, which we were really grateful to be a part of. We really enjoyed being a part of it. And you did that. I mean, that went through day to night, and we really got to look back at what you guys have achieved over the years. And I never knew the magnitude of the amount that you've done, really, for that community, for Moseley, for Birmingham, for bringing all these artists in. Because especially 10 years ago, I can't imagine how hard it would have been to get big names to come to a smaller festival. I think that's one of the biggest challenges I imagine that you face as a booker of a festival as well, because they're always trying to look for who's performed there before, yet you've just, and when you look back, you see this incredible lineup of just big star, and of course all those amazing people that you've brought up through that as well. So it was really, really good to watch that whole.
Well, we felt that as well. We kind of went through and did like voiceovers from year to year and talk about some like the funny stories that we probably never shared, and looked back. We kind of sat there and went, "Oh, this is actually quite cool," because we never stopped to take stock. It's like, okay, festival's finished, we're knackered, put it away in a box.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to Moseley Folk. Okay, it's finished, we're knackered. Great, put it away in the box. Okay, well, let's get Moseley Jazz back on sale. And it's just, it's fine. It is what it is, you know what I mean? Obviously, people do much harder jobs.
Not to mention Lunar Festival thrown into the mix, and then all of the other events that you do.
Well, yeah, exactly. But, as I say, people do harder jobs in life, and we're very lucky to do what we do. So, certainly in the moment, but it's like, it was actually quite nice to take stock and appreciate all the things that, not only that we've created, but what, people have done for us as well, and kind of, chipped in on. And it's, go back and seeing all the videos and stuff of the bands, the bigger bands you're saying, it's cool. And we're lucky that there's only 3 of us kind of in the company, because it means we can invest more money in the festivals. We're not supporting 20 staff members,
Yeah. And with that, I wanted to come to, not to mention that there was only 3 or 4 of you that were doing that whole online thing, and you were literally uploading stuff as the online was going on. I think it's amazing. The workload you were doing.
It's partly my fault as well. I think we kind of,
it worked, mate.
It worked, yeah. But poor Shannon and Nick that were helping. We were so focused on rearranging the festival to next year, speaking to the customers about tickets going over. The online thing hadn't really been like, oh, everyone's going to do an online thing. That hadn't really developed at this point. No. And then we were kind of like, oh yeah, we should do sync online. Yeah. And I don't think we've never done that before, and we didn't understand the magnitude of it. And it did literally get to the point where we were receiving files on the day, uploading them, converting them whilst things are playing, and and getting them out. And it worked. It was fine. But yeah, poor Shannon and Nick. I think I put them under a bit of pressure there. So fair play to those guys.
Oh mate, it's such a complex thing. The whole broadcasting.
Yeah.
I think by the time at that point, I think I'd already thrown my Mac out the window. Yeah. I think that was some of that came. No, it was a nightmare. Yeah, but I really, I was really impressed with the way that you all pulled it off, as hard as it was, and I'm sure you learnt a great deal of things about that whole thing. So
it was quite funny, yeah, because it was, again, we hadn't quite honed it down into a fine thing, and we basically did. I would have been happy to do like a 3-4 hour show and just condense it and be really on it and, a bit more focused. But we kind of went for the
14-hour.
Yeah, 14-hour marathon, which
10 till 12, wasn't it?
It went on so long. We were.
Oh no, you went on till the early hours. I think.
It was like it got to the point where I'd left where we were hosting it from, and Shan, who was running it, was still online, and I'd got home and I was just dead. I was, I wanted to go to bed. I was done. And there's a DJ set going on. And I was just sat there watching it. I thought, I'm going to log into Google Analytics. I looked and there's 2 people watching this. This is like 3 o'clock. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And And I was just like, Shan, let's just put a thank you message on and cut it. And he was like, nah, we've got to go to the end, man. And I was just like, there's two people. That's you and me. Like,
we're the stats.
We're the stats. And he was kind of coming around. He was coming around to the idea and being like, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, no, maybe we should. And just as said that, he went up to 3, and I was like, and he's like, nah, there's someone in the room, man. We can't shut it down. So someone at home was just like buzzing off DJ food, and we were like, I was like, Shane, look, if you want to carry it on, mate, I'm going to bed. Because it was it was a 4-hour day, and we was there early, so probably like an 18-hour day. It was just really funny. Just as we were talking about it, going, you know what? I've convinced him. Let's call it a night. It's like someone walked in, and we were both like, "Oh my god, the message! Someone's just come in." It's just really funny. But so yeah, it was a good thing to do, and it kind of was the front of our crowdfunder as well. So it kind of was a nice amalgamated thing.
And that did get, I think you were getting some good donations through that as well.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I think we got. I think the first weekend we got like 10 grand or something, which it's mega.
That's amazing.
It's mega. It's ridiculous. Like I put kind of a figure on it based on kind of what we needed. I mean, it wasn't even we wanted to do something really small and just kind of go, okay, well, let's just get that, and that'd be great. But the reality was, it wouldn't have done that much for us at the time. So it's just like, look, we're going to have to go big on it, and just fingers crossed that people are into it. And we put we put a lot of prizes on there, or like things people could buy that they couldn't usually buy. So it wasn't just like, please give us your money. It was like,
that's for this year, isn't it? So a lot of people that bought special, what do you call them? They're like kind of prizes, but they're
pledges.
That's it, pledges. There were some really big ones, and so,
the lifetime tickets was the one.
Yeah,
and that's really cool.
How many of those did you get?
So we just did like a raffle for £5. You could buy a ticket for £5, and you get like 2 lifetime weekend tickets. So as long as you live, which obviously I hope's a long time. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But it could be like 30,
that's amazing.
Years,
that's amazing, because
it's a great prize.
Anyone who would have bought that raffle ticket, I know for a fact that would have already been a loyal.
Oh, definitely. But like obviously, because I'm the one working on it, I'm the one that gets the message to people that won, and that's really cool. You kind of go, oh, just that you're the winner of the lifetime tickets to the festivals, and they're so buzzing.
And that's the nice side. That's the beauty of your job in particular, John, isn't it? That you do a lot of work behind the scenes, getting these people onto the stages, dealing with all of the finer details of getting people booked and getting them there in terms of for the festival days.
Yeah.
And then you get to meet them, and you get to experience that whole other side that no one else. There you go.
Everyone's have. Yeah. I'm very lucky, to get to meet some of these people, but. Yeah, just I mean, I just really like chatting to the people that email in, and that just ask the most random questions, and I'll just sit down and just like get into like a chain chat with them. Just be like, there's a woman the other day which I think she was a bit older, and she accidentally replied to our mailing list rather than forwarding it to her daughter, saying, I don't think this is for me anymore. I'm getting too old. I won't go next year. And she sent it to us.
Okay.
So, I kind of responded back to her and was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that you don't feel it's for you anymore." I was like, "But we do cater for the old people, and you can always bring your chair and your blanket and stuff like that." And she got back and she put, "Haha, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to send it to you." And she goes, "Oh, but thank you." We had like a little chat, and I just really like that kind of. I think that's the fun. That's the fun bit. I mean, you do have the opposite as well, of like absolute nightmare people.
Well, that's probably happened quite a lot. I think I'd like to think people have been pretty understanding. Like last year, I mean, your stats.
They've been great, man. No, they've been great. Like in regards to COVID, like I'm amazed. Obviously people that wanted refunds. It's like, yeah, of course. Obviously people need money. Everyone's got their own situation.
Did you get that many through the refunds as opposed to the people that held?
It's about 10%, I think. But
wow.
it's probably crept up a bit, because I think we left it until the event would have happened, and then we kind of said, look, we need to plan our future as well. It's like, we've given you 5 months to get a refund. Your ticket's now rolled over, and if they don't happen again, they'll roll over again, or then get refunds again. So it's like, we've put those processes in place for people.
I'm feeling very hopeful about this year. Of course, it's, we've learned from last year how unpredictable things are, and I just, the amount of work that you just touching on, you say the amount of work that you put into doing the online show. I just want to say, like, at the best of times, you're stacked all year out. You probably get a little grace period of maybe a month of where you can go, right, this festival's been done, I've got to take a little time away.
I love it. I love it.
But you do love it. But as your workload, did it? I imagine it probably like sort of tripled down. If you were like, for cancelling, if you're organising suppliers, you're dealing with the managers, you're booking the artists, the promotion, you're dealing with obviously everyone who's inquiring, all the public inquiries and stuff, and then you've got to deal with the promotion of 2 festivals, to then having to cancel, reschedule those later on, and then cancel them and reschedule them again, and start the whole process over, all while going. It was crazy.
I thought, when we first had the lockdown in April 2020, that kind of, when the weather was absolutely, banging. I think we did get like, there's a couple of weeks where the reality was there wasn't much to do because we're waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
So that was just sat in our little garden with, a beer in the sun and playing dice games. But then after that, it went nuts because, as you say, like the festivals got cancelled, and it was the whole thing of like, do we move the jazz to the end of summer, because I'm sure the end of summer would definitely happen, and good job we didn't. And then it's like, well, okay, let's move the festivals, so we have to contact all the bands because we're day tickets, not weekend tickets. People do come bands specifically, so we tried to rebook all the bands, managed to do that, announce that we're moving it and the band's moved over, and that we've rolled tickets over, and that you can get a refund, and then deal with the refunds, whilst doing the crowdfunder, sorting the online shows, doing this twice. Wow. It was busy. Yeah. It was. I mean, again, I don't mind any of that, but I just thought in that April, I thought, oh wow, this is going to be like my first summer off in like 10 years. It's going to be great.
Yeah. No, John. No.
And then they shut us all aside. Then they locked us all aside. So I lost the dream. But there we go.
And did you lose any acts? Because I know at one point you had done.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, well, we had like Leanna Vass books for.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is as well, you got to remember that all these bands that we've booked have got like album cycles and very specific marketing things that are going to help us, which is really important when you book bands. Is that you try and book bands that have got their own marketing going on, And Leanna Vass was one of those people that she had an album coming out exactly like I think the week of Mostly Jazz, so it's perfect. Yeah. Then of course she understandably didn't want to commit to 2021 because she probably wants to do her own tour, which obviously can't happen. So there's a few people like that. I think Kokoroko dropped out, Leanna Vass, Hypnotic Brass Ensemble for the jazz, and I think the Staves for the folk and Passenger for the folk. And
I mean, you've still got a whale lineup. I mean, it's honestly a mammoth. It's so big. I was, just looking back at it today to see, the likes of the Wailers and Hannah Williams and Fatback Band and Nena Cherry and just to name a few. Who are you excited to see at the moment now? Even though we've lost because Leanne Havas is one of my favourite artists. I saw her just after she debuted on the Jules Holland show at the Glee Club, and
you're the first person I text. You're the first person.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's quite right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nina Friday. I mean, the Friday night's pretty sweet. I mean, if we go ahead this year, it's like Marabou DJ set, Nightmares and Wax, Nina Cherry. I think I'm going to look to add someone else. I like all days. I don't get to see many of the bands, which is
it's true.
I see bits like, but Sunday night I'll probably, if it is the Wailers at headline, I think we might get someone else. We don't know yet, but as well as the Wailers, sorry. But that would be wicked because at that 9 o'clock on a Sunday night is when relax. That's my first drink of the week. My mentality is, we've got to nail this. And then as soon as that last band walks on stage on Sunday night, it's like, right.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's a night, and that's a nice feeling, man. So,
it's lovely to see you at that, as like a punter whenever I've been there, and I see you. For anyone that goes to mostly jazz, if you see John, you'll see him probably walking quite fast around the entire place, just making things happen.
Sweating,
yeah. But
Sweating.
you make it look good. You make it look cool. So you do it well, but you don't. There's never a point where you'll see John just standing, being able to enjoy an entire set, maybe a song, maybe going wicked. But he's super busy making sure that things are just going like clockwork at the back, and they usually do. I mean, I don't know of an instance where it hasn't, but I imagine from your perspective, there's been big changes and big things happening behind the scenes where you're just like, right, how are we going to deal with it?
Yeah, so the snake. There was a snake one year.
What?
There was just a snake turned up.
Well, so there was just a snake.
Yeah.
So did a band bring a snake, or was it just
turned up backstage? No. It just turned up. Like, just started rolling around the backstage. Yeah, it was pretty mad. You do have to deal with some some crazy stuff. I remember this once. I don't know how the hell she got in, but this drunk woman kind of climbed around there's at the pond, there's a fence that's and security, and I think security must have just popped to the toilet, and she's kind of climbed along the fence over the water and got in, and she was fairly drunk, and we had to escort her out, and we escorted out just as Shaka Khan was coming in. It was oh no. She's got Shaka.
Sorry, Shaka.
I was oh, please get rid of this woman. It was,
Got to commemorate her for her skills. I must admit, mate, if you out your mind and you're still managing to scale the fence line.
I don't think she was I don't think she was like jazz fun, because I don't think she was trying to come to the festival.
Right.
I think she was just out. I thought, oh, what's this? And
just walked out the fighting cocks.
Yeah, and just had this little moment of she got in. And then I think Shaka Khan. She was Shaka. It was Shaka Khan. I was oh my god, please. She's just turned up. It's not a good thing. But
God,
do it back. There's loads of weird stuff like that. It's There's
what memories make it. Is that these make the memories, and I suppose it makes you I guess better every year, because you're
definitely
constantly just adapting to these changing times, and has never been more of a changing time than 2020.
No, 100%. I mean, it's going to be interesting when we do happen again, having to get back into the frame of running a festival. I think that's going to be quite strange.
It's going to be very different.
It's hard enough each year when you kind of go, okay, festivals come in, but what do we do? Because it's been 7-8 months since we've run a festival a year or whatever. So it is a little bit okay, let's get in the frame of mind. So if we do get postponed again this year, it's going to be 24 months since the last festival. That's crazy.
Well, I would like to point out that whilst that is true on a grand scale, when we're talking festival, but I thought that something that you did last year that nobody else did, and of course it was not a festival. Pink Moon was the saving grace for everyone last summer, and it was as close to, I guess this is the way I would put it, close to being outdoors with a music community as you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And it was it capped at 200 or something? And that was miles and miles of farmland space, huge camping spots.
Yeah,
distance,
it was about 250, 300 of tops a weekend.
Tops, yeah. And
it was the Lunar site. So we normally have you can have up to 5,000 people. So there's 250 people on there, which so it was great.
And it was already a registered camping site, so there wasn't too many loopholes you had to jump through, which not a lot of people have access to.
Exactly.
And for us, it was a beacon of freedom. It was lovely. Time.
It was cracking, but you are right.
Really safe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it kind of fell in that gap between what is COVID, how long is it going to last, what are the rules, and it did fall in that gap, which was really lucky. But yeah, as you say, the government gave the all clear for campsites to open. I think more for mental health than anything, so people could go and kind of do something in the summer. Yeah. So as I say, it was registered campsite. They had a license for a bar. So everyone was there, we just had to put some lights up and take all our festival stuff there and spread it all out. And we gave people 10 metre by 10 metre pitches and had spaces between those. And it was just madly spread out. And it was great. Yeah, I mean, the first weekend, like I remember walking in, going to the bar, and it was just this couple sat there holding his pints, like cold pints that had been poured. It's like, wow, you know, what a novelty, you know.
And that's it.
Yeah. And
it was like an uncondensed festival. It was like everything you'd expect inside of like, you know, a festival environment where there's thousands of people. It was just like that, spread out without as many people and safely, and all these novel things that you just miss.
Yeah,
really missed, and that you were expecting to have a pint, just a pint, or you know, a little bit of acoustic music, you know, just a food stand that sold some, you know, lovely junk food that you can't really have in a field usually, you know, just you know, nice fresh hot, you know, hot dog or you know, coffee and whatever, and people camping with their kids and camping as families and going as friends. And
I'd say that's the best feedback we've probably had from any event. You know, people are very complimentary about the festivals, but you know, the reality is they're not that cheap. You know, that they're expensive to put on, and they're expensive to book all the acts and stuff like that. Like, you know, so expensive to make them, but they're not like £10. I mean, so people go there, they expect a certain quality, so they enjoy it, but they don't feel the need to kind of go, you know, email in afterwards and go, "Wow, thank you so much, that's incredible," because it should be, you know, it should be. Whereas I think the Pink Moon camping was like, I think it blew people's minds just because, you know, we've been in COVID for, well, at least a few months, 4 months maybe. And it was just like, I think people just so appreciated of it, from like, thank God we're outside in the middle of nowhere feeling really safe. And for weekends could kind of sit in our groups of 6, whatever, and, you know, just relax, not have.
I got chills thinking about it. There was some. We were there for. I think we came and did 2 weekends with you, and the first weekend was the end of July, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, the weather was great, the atmosphere was beautiful, the nights were dark and filled with stars, and the moon was out. It just was it. It was that. You just did a great job, and I think maybe that's why you've had that feedback, because, you know, maybe all the other ones we didn't appreciate as much because it was a given.
Yeah,
when it's not a
you
given.
Expected. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, God, if you know the first, I'm sure when we first did the first festival after all this, I mean, we're adamant that this, you know, after this, it's going to be there'll be a bit of a like a psychological barrier buffer,
public confidence.
Yeah, just to go back up, like, you know, socialise in large numbers again. But we think it's going to be like the Roaring *20s. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, you know, just the way I'm feeling at the moment, I'm going to a gig every night. It's like I'm out, man. Once this is over, I'm out, and it's just like,
not one on, you'll make one.
Exactly, yeah, just crack on, you know. But I think, I mean, I'll probably go out for the first night, be hungover, and I'll be like, actually, you know what, I'm going to stay in again now. But I think a lot of people are going to be buzzing for it, and you know, it'll take. Obviously, there's the economic impact that people won't have as much money, but. Yeah, just when things tick back in, man, it's going to be, just in a pub beer garden, music playing, sun out.
So
that's all it is.
Hoping that happens this year. Feeling like the summer, you know, I'm feeling really hopeful. Obviously, having some major festivals close the doors early on this year, probably mainly for financial reasons. First and foremost, because of the amount of prep. We're talking about Glastonbury. You know, that came as a bit of a surprise to me to do it so early, but not to you, because I think you understood how much work that goes into that. They start prepping, building now, and any risk. It. You know, it's
building
massive.
the site. You know, it takes 3 months. It takes 3 months to build Glastonbury.
So, but for yours isn't particularly, it's not a tiny festival by any means, but for smaller festivals, more community-based ones, there's more hope in the respect that, you know, there's probably, when restrictions are lifted, there's a better chance of that amount of people than a huge amount of people, you know, being together. So I'm still feeling pretty hopeful, and what I'm also really looking forward to as well, other than the Jazz Fest and the Folk Fest, is you're doing Pink Moon again.
No, dude. So last. So you know what, I'm excited about it because I get to enjoy that. That's like, right.
You were there every weekend, right?
I think we had like 1 weekend off. So I was there. So I camped like 7 weekends last summer.
Wow.
And that was nice, you know. And like with the local pub delivering Sunday dinners, I mean, I'm happy. I'm a happy man then.
Yeah.
So it was, we're doing it again, like 28th of May onwards.
Hats off to the farm as well, everyone there. And for anyone who didn't go last year and anyone who did, you'll agree and you should know that their farm facilities were out of this world. It's a modern facility there, as you get to glamp without, having to hire out a teepee, which you can do if you want to as well. And, you got to experience music, fire, people, dancing, just having a great time out in the great outdoors. And it is something I highly recommend you get on this year. And you're going to be running it.
So do I, yeah.
Running it.
28th of May all the way through to about the 21st of June, I think.
Brilliant.
So 4 weekends. Yeah, 4 weekends at the moment. And then obviously we'll see how it goes, and maybe we'll extend it. Maybe it's going to be the only thing we could do this summer. We don't know, but we've kind of got we're in a good position, I think, with that.
And you've done it, haven't you? You've ran it already, which is great. So you already know what to expect from that. Is there anything you do differently than you did last year?
Well, it's going to be stricter. It's going to be a bit stricter because we've there's more dictation in the rules that last year we didn't really know what the rules were, because they're kind of like, okay, well, we're back open now. It was the eat out to help out stuff, and it's like, okay, well,
they didn't quite know what they were.
No,
how things were going to happen. So they were testing the waters.
Understandably, from that point of view, they didn't. We didn't have a clue what to do. They're testing things, and we were testing things. So it might find it a bit more strict this summer, which is obviously a good thing. Don't know. Probably not. More the same. I think it worked, and I think it's more about people getting together in a safe place. And if you can, as I say, get some kind of acoustic music, and you can play a little bit of crazy golf, and go take the kids on the playground and see the farm animals. Great. What is there to change? I think if things grow,
and that piano has to make a return.
It does. Yeah.
That same piano man.
Probably won't be the same one. I think poor Jake having to tune that thing. That thing up every year, But,
he was there I think he was actually there every weekend, to my knowledge. I think
he was every weekend. And Toby, yeah, respect to man. They're the proper musicians, aren't they? What I mean? They live it, love it, and that's
they do. And like I say, this was the only thing to do last summer. There was thing worth doing as far as I was concerned. It was such a beautiful thing to witness and be to be a part of. So I'm really excited to see the return of that, even if it's just for the 4 weeks, and then we can roll on back into the festivals, because of course that's what we all want as well. So John, thanks, man. I really love talking to you always, man. You're a good friend of mine, and you're doing incredible things for the music industry. Keep on. And I wanted to just quickly finish off by asking you if you're, I'm sure everyone's got their own way of doing things, but if you're a festival, maybe smaller than yourselves, an independent festival, have you got any advice for them about how to face this coming year, and maybe how to deal with things if they want to be either starting up or continue on?
It's hard, isn't it? It's I think everybody has their own game plan. If you don't, it's kind of, you've got to have a game plan. Just don't overcommit yourself. I'm always up for like not having, not committing to too much liability. That, okay, if this event don't happen, we have to pay this much money. It's like, to make that as small as possible and grow things organically. Make use of digital content, rather than physical, especially now because no one's going out. Direct marketing, mail lists, there's email addresses. That's the dream, rather than paying Facebook loads of money. Although we obviously do that as well. But there is an organic way. There is a very organic way of growing a music event that doesn't need to, have loads of spend, I think. And I think it's a really exciting position to be in. Just like, we're terrible for it because we always try and run before we walk. Like, we've been guilty of that so many times. I think we've learned now. I like to think we've learned. But it's just take your time. You've got years to grow something. It's like it's amazing if you can get loads of people there without having to spend loads of money on a headline band and no name, household names or whatever. but it is very tough. So it's know your market, and just don't overcommit. If you've got millions of quid in the bank, overcommit, have fun, why not? But if you
think of a few festivals that spring to mind when I think about.
Well, I do, yeah.
Tons of money that just go, and you go there and you're like, this is very strange.
Oh, some of it, yeah. I
remember working stagehand at I won't name the festival, but a particular festival, and it felt very rich, and you sort of walk around, you're like, wow, they've gone for this festival feel, but and the result is very different, but the names are here. They've got that money, and it's a very different feeling. Whereas your organic, your festival feels far more organic, and I know you spend a lot of money and a lot of resources in doing so, but you've built that credibility over a decade.
Definitely. And there's loads of festivals. There's so many festivals out there that are doing it. Like someone like Shambhala, for example. It's like they're killing it. It costs so much money for them to put that on, but because if you take the people that run it out of that, if they sell Shambhala, that's when you could go down a route of someone going, right, this is make money, and it could get a bit sterile, But the people that run it they come up with some mad ideas and they do them. I mean, it's a great job to be in, isn't it? If you want to do that, I mean, fantastic. So,
one of my favourite festivals. One of my favourite festivals, it really is Shambhala.
It is. It's nuts.
Have I seen you there?
We've probably passed. Probably, yeah. I don't remember you. We probably spent the weekend together, But
probably did. Probably actually went there together in the same car. No idea.
Yeah.
John, where can people? So you're selling tickets at the moment for still mostly Jazz Funk and Soul Festival. You're selling tickets for the Folk Festival, which I haven't touched on very much, and I know that lineup is also stacked with amazing artists as well. I know that I only touched on the one today, but where can we get all the tickets for mostly Jazz, mostly Folk, and also Pink Moon as well, mate?
So I mean, we would say as well that we are selling tickets, but if it gets moved to 2022 for COVID, it's money back or roll the ticket over. We've guaranteed that, so people can kind of buy and have something to look forward to, but with a bit of confidence they're not going to lose their money. But mostly Jazz, simple, mostlyjazz.co.uk, mostly folk, mostlyfolk.co.uk, and Pink Moon's under the Lunar Festival banner because that's having a break, so it's on that site. So it's lunarfestival.co.uk. Just go and check them all out.
Amazing. I'll be coming to every single one, undoubtedly. Really looking forward to it. John, absolutely amazing to talk to you, brother. I really appreciate you coming on talking with me today. I've been long awaiting it, so and we'll
pleasure. I know you have. Yeah, sorry, I keep delaying it. So I'm sorry. Thank you.
Only 3 times today. It's fine.
I know. Yeah. Well, had to. Yeah.
Can we do 12? Can we do 2? Can we do 5?
It's been it's been one of those days, mate. But no, thank you for bearing with me. It's good to chat.
We adapt and overcome. That's surely if that's the takeaway from the last year.
Absolutely, bang on.
Lots of love, brother. Thanks again for joining in, man. You're an absolute superstar. Keep doing it, man.
Okay, cheers, man, and you. Big love.
Cheers, John.
Bye.